All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Wednesday morning Inner Circle live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. We're going to get right to it, man. As always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds and your bodies to engage as you guys always do. For the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So take a quick look at some fundamentals, and then we're going to dive into the charts, man. Drop me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay, and if you can see my trading economic screen. Made some adjustments yesterday. All right, perfect. Appreciate it. So not a ton, but we got some that came in overnight, right? Euro area inflation rate slows more than expected. Annual inflation rate in the euro area eased to 10% in November from a record high of 10.6 in October, and compared to market forecasts of 10.4, preliminary estimates showed, right? So we had inflation estimates from Europe, and it's showing preliminarily that things are slowing down a little bit in the euro area. So we'll see if when the actual numbers come out, if they reflect the same thing. Then we have oil. Brent crude futures were trading around $84 a barrel on Wednesday, supported by a bigger than expected drop in U.S. crude inventories, while investors keep an eye on the upcoming OPEC meeting. API data on Tuesday showed that crude oil stockpiles dropped more than 7.9 million barrels in the week ended November 25th, the most since the week ended July 2nd, 2021, and well above market expectation of a 2.487 million barrel decline. Meanwhile, OPEC and its allies, including Russia, are expected to keep their output quotes unchanged at their next meeting on December 4th. However, there is yet to be a consensus, with further production cuts still on the table, right? International benchmark lost 10% in November amid persistent concerns about potential global recession-driven demand downturn, right? So we still got that bounce back and forth on oil, okay? And that's probably going to continue. We also got to keep in mind that Europe will be moving off of Russian oil in the month of December as well. So that's something that will also come into play there. All right. Over to the calendar. These are those estimates, right? Preliminary CPI coming out of Europe. And then you got European flash estimate year over year. This is that 10%, as opposed to the estimated 10.4. Okay. That core estimated CPI number came in right at 5%. So we'll see as the month wraps up and we move into the month of December, if things stay the same. All right. Today, ADP non-farm employment change, preliminary GDP for the United States, those two coming in at 8:15 and 8:30. The eyes are on today, Fed Chair Powell speaking at 1:30. It could definitely move the market. All right. So keep your eyes peeled around 1:30. Could be some volatility there. We'll see where this conversation pushes the market. See if it pushes us into some key areas that we might be looking for. All right. Tomorrow we got CPI for the Swissy coming out at 2:30. We'll take a look at those later on this evening to see where those sit. All right. That's it from a fundamental perspective. Any questions fundamentally? Nope. All right. Cool deal. We will take a look at the dollar, and then we'll go through the pairs. All right. We're still ranging here. The Euro news is negative on oil, right? No, that won't necessarily push the oil market in one direction or the other. The Euro news is really primarily just the Euro pairs. That oil is going to continue to bounce back and forth, dealing with China, and then the expectations of those OPEC meetings, where Europe comes into play is as they move off of that Russian crude, but their CPI numbers won't necessarily impact Europe. It'll kind of be the opposite way around. If the crude prices continue to increase, then it could affect their CPI data, right? But the Euro news won't affect the oil price per se. That makes sense. Okay. All right. So here on the dollar, we're still just ranging, right? Still moving slowly. Fed Chair Powell could push this in one direction or the other. So it's just sideways right now. All right, just sideways right now. So not much doing from last night. All right, not much doing from last night. We're sitting in this key zone at a 618 retracement on the 4. And we'll see what happens. See if we stay in this range, we're able to break out to the top side, or do we push deeper and get down to this weekly support level? All right, so that's the dollar. We're going to start with the Aussie pairs and we're going to work our way through. So this Aussie CAD, right? We come to the weekly time frame, right? You see we pushed into this weekly resistance level here, okay? Trying to get a reaction. We'll see as the week wraps up. We'll see if we are able to stay below this level, but we push into that level pretty strong, all right? So we come down to the daily time frame, and we're just shy of a 786 retracement. Okay, we got some daily resistance and some weekly resistance up here at the 786 level, right? But we're starting to get a reaction here, and we'll see if we stay there. Okay, we'll see if we stay there. But that's the push to the upside there, right? Nice deep retracement. Haven't gotten there yet, so it's still considered a 61% retracement, and we'll see what happens. As we move down in the time frames, we get to the 4 hour. I got a couple things happening here, right? So here on the 4, right, we're at an 8.6 retracement level. That's that weekly resistance, and we got that daily level right there, right? But what I did also to look for some additional confluence or some additional confirmation is I ran sub-fibs to the upside here. And at this daily level, we got a fresh AB boundary, right? So this is something that I'm going to keep my eyes on, right? May not necessarily be anything doing right now, but I'm going to run the trend lines and keep my eyes on this one to see if we get a reversal to occur. Now, what I would like to happen here, what I'd like to see is I would like to see price push to this 118, 127 zone, right? That's what I'd like to see. Give me that extreme exhaustion point, right? And then turn over, right? And what that'll do is it takes out that A, right? Takes out that A, and it gives me this fresh look, right? And this fresh 80-20 scenario, right? And that it'll put me in the 786, potentially 86 retracement area, right? If we get one more push to the upside there, okay? But I want to see this 80-20 scenario develop, right? We may or we may not get it. We'll see. So there's two ways you can play this, right? Set a deep retracement level, right? Your risk to reward if you want to trade this deep retracement back to the downside and place your stop above the A, right? Pretty decent risk to reward scenario here, right? It's 50 pips above the A, right? If you place it there, even if you place it above this 127, you got about 100 pips, right? And then your downside action is well worth it, right? You're looking at to the 118, you're looking at 574 pips, right? So you're risking 100 for 500. Risk to reward is good there, right? So we'll see what happens, but I'm running my trend lines on the 4. When we get down to lower time frames, we'll look at this as well. So it'll show us that clear look right here, right? Give us that clear look right here. So what I'd like to see, and we already got a trend line break, right? Price push down, and we're getting this retracement now. So we'll see if we get this push. We may not get it, but I'd like to see that push to the upside there, right? To give me that extreme exhaustion, okay? And then come back down, right? But if price stays below that B boundary here, that's okay too. It'll give us a double top scenario, right? And then give us that breakdown to the downside, okay? So we'll see. We'll monitor this to see what happens. We're getting some stalling right now at this previous weekly level, right? And so we'll watch this to see, okay? But we already got a trend line break, and we're getting a pullback now. So we'll watch to see how this develops, but keep your eyes on this to see how it moves. All right. If we come down to the 15, we get a little bit more information. All right. So here on the 15, we had an 80-20 scenario already. Right. Already had an 80-20 scenario. We tried to break down. We're getting a pullback now, sitting in the 127 zone. Right. So if we get this pushback to the upside, it'll hit that D extension on the 15-minute time frame. Right. So this is why I'm saying we could not get that push down. If we get a double top scenario like that, that wouldn't be completely surprising. Okay. So watch this as it's developing and as it's moving. If your rules are met, right, pull the trigger, take the trade. Okay. So that's the 15-minute look on that Aussie CAD. Any questions here? No. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing better, man. We getting there.
Yeah, you
We
sound a
getting
little
there.
bit better this morning.
Yeah. I got a little bit more energy too. So we're getting there, man.
That's good. That's good.
We're getting there. You doing all right?
Yeah, man. I'm doing good, man. Getting that workout in this morning.
My
Like
man.
we talked about. Gotta get on
Man.
it. I can't wait until the New Year's for the resolution.
Yeah. No
Gotcha.
time better than to start today, man.
Yeah,
Great
man.
work, dude.
Gotta get consistent. Appreciate it. But yeah, that Swiss yen that we were looking at last night hit, and then that UCAD is dropping too. So
Oh,
just a
okay.
quick update on that. I know we covered that during the live session last night, so didn't get a chance to post it in Telegram, but we went over it in the session last night. So
I will
yep.
definitely hop over and take a look at that Swiss yen for sure.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
All right. So that's the Aussie CAD. We'll hop over real quick, take a look at that Swiss yen while we move on. Oh yeah, finally took off. This is that Swiss yen. It was just hovering in that zone, right? Hovering in that zone. Boom, right? This trend line would have shifted out. I missed that one actually. There we go. All right, so this is a Swiss yen, right? 80-20 scenario, shallow retracement, 118, 127. Got a sideways push, one last push down, and we took off to the upside, right? Push all the way to TP2, right? Beautiful move, beautiful move. Hopefully somebody was in on that, right? So now we watch to see, right? Do we continue to press higher, or do we get a reversal press down and get to the matching extension at 144? Okay. If we bounce back and look at this overall, right? Price is still sitting in this range. So on a weekly time frame, price is still ranging here, not able to break out of this box, right? Not able to break out of the box. Okay, so we'll see what happens, right? But we got shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Here's our sideways push. So thinking potentially at some point, right, we could get price to make this move to the downside. It's just a matter of when, right? Just a matter of when. We get down to the daily time frame, and we're just hovering in this 382 range, right? Pushing sideways through the trend line. All right. So we'll see. We'll see how this thing develops, right? So as you move down through the time frames, it's just more consolidation, right? Still sitting in that range. So your cleanest play on this was on the lower time frame on that retracement, right? So now we look to see, and that's what we wanted to see, right? On this 1 hour, we did have an 80-20 scenario, right? Shallow retracement, 118 and 127. We wanted to see price push down. It did that, right? Came down to the low. Now it's pushing back up. So we'll see if we continue running higher and get back to the high, or is this where we stall and do we turn back over? Okay. But it did what we're looking for, right? This was a while ago on the 15th, right? Take that out. So that's the one. So now we wait to see, right? Do we get this push to continue riding higher, or is this just a pullback off this long impulsive move to the downside? Is this just a pullback for price to continue to the downside and take out this A, right? We'll see. We'll see if the yens are ready to really turn over and really make that push and gain some strength. We'll see, right? But that's the move there. Okay. So now if you trade 618 retracements, right? Maybe look at this and see, okay, does this meet my rules, right? If you get your trend line break to the downside, you're ranging right now. If you get your trend line break to the downside, right, do you play this back down? Right? Do you play it back down to the downside? Right, so something to take a look at, right? If you trade the 618 retracements, allow it to meet your rules. Okay. Questions on that Swiss yen? No. All right. Deal. Look at this Aussie dollar. Still ranging, right? Pushing back up, potentially coming back to the 67,850 level, right? So on a daily time frame, sitting in between this 50% and 618% retracement here. Okay. So got a little bit of range action happening. We'll see what happens when we get back to the top of the range. See if we're able to finally get this to turn over, right? We'll see what Fed what Chair Powell has to say and see if that gives us our catalyst. Get down to the 4. Whoops. And we run these fibs from the high. Like so. Those got taken out, so we're running from the bottom up. And this is that range that we're sitting in. We got the 80-20 scenario. We broke down to the 382, and then we just pushed sideways. Okay. So still waiting. Still waiting. Okay. So once price gets back up to this daily level, if we're able to stay below, right, it could be an opportunity for us to get short. We'll see. But if we break out to the upside, look forward to a run to that next daily level and then matching the extension. Okay. On the 1, similar deal. Run those fibs from the low. That got taken out there. Bang. All right. So here on the 1, we got an 8-6 retracement, right? So the matching D extension, if we break above this daily level, this is 118, right? So we got, and this is kind of symbolizes that that consolidation where you have fibs on either side that don't agree, right? So we shall see what happens again once we get to this daily level. Okay. We'll see what happens if we push to the upside to get to that 118, or if we stay below and make our way back down to the bottom of that range. Ms. Cassandra, good morning. What's up?
Good morning. I've been watching this Aussie USD, and what I did on, if you go back to your daily, similar to what you did on the earlier Aussie pair, I ran a fib up from the bottom, and I've been kind of cautious to enter right at the first resistance level there because of the thinking, and it's dependent upon the news today, of course, it may try to make a run up there to that 80-20 zone, which is another resistance right up above it. So I'm watching both of those, but been kind of cautious at this first zone.
Yeah, I follow you on that, right? We could definitely push that next level, but keep in mind here, right? This wouldn't be an 80-20 because we did get to that 382.
You're right. Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. But good eye here, though, right? You got your B boundary form at this daily level. Now, this 118 level still could be, right, a reversal zone because you also got another daily level there, right? So good eye on that, right? So we definitely could see something like that, and maybe even, right, depending on on what
the weekly,
right, that all that's a potential if we break above this daily level here, right? So we'll wait and see, but that's a good eye though. That's a good eye, right? So we'll watch to see what happens. If we break above that level, watch for that next daily level to come into play. Appreciate you on that. All right. So we'll see. We'll see. This daily level is going to be key for us today.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. Let's see. If we come down to the 5, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Benny broke this down last night. Boom. Move to the upside, right? Beautiful move to the upside. We took out the A here on the 5. So for intraday traders, come down here and we look, right? So here says we got a 382 already, right? Either we get a double top scenario here and we break down, or we push to the D extension at 67,612, and then we'll look for a reset. Okay, so we'll watch this one. Right? This is on the 5-minute time frame, and see what happens. Okay. That's on your 5. You already got to your 382, so now it's, are we getting a double top scenario? Right? Just so we're clear, are we getting a double top scenario? Or will we get one more push to the upside? Which that push to the upside, right, puts us back in the area that we've been talking about, that daily resistance level, right? So that's the question. So we'll watch to see, right? If we break down and we break this trend line, then we might have an opportunity to play it back to the downside. Okay. Questions on this Aussie dollar? Nope. Real quick, I'm gonna bounce over, look at this dollar CAD, and then we're gonna take a look at the Euro CAD. That one is also having some fun. So this to play on that dollar CAD, price pushing to the downside here. We come back to the daily, clean this up a bit. We've been watching this to the upside. There we go, right? So we had this nice retracement come down to 50% retracement level, right? We got this beautiful push to the upside, right? Came into these previous daily levels, right? The daily resistance here. This was a previous daily level from back there. This one we can actually remove. All right, this was our daily resistance. We pushed into it. Now we're pushing back down, okay? We had a previous resistance level here, right? Previous resistance level here. So what we want to see is, do we get a retest of this level, right? When we get down to lower time frames, we'll see what this looks like, right? But do we get a retest in continuation, right? In continuation. That's the question that I'm asking, right? In my head, as I look at this, okay? So that's on your daily. We drop down to the 4. And run that fib to the upside. Like so. Okay. Those fibs got taken out, coming back down, right? So we'll run the fib off the high. And this is the original move that we got. Oops. Here off the B boundary, right? Push. It's that 50% retracement level and push to the upside. Came into that 618 level here. And this is where that reversal is coming, right? So this is that previous resistance level, right? We'll see if we come back to retest that. Right. See if we come back and retest that. So now as we get down to the 1 hour time frame, right? And we run these fibs to the upside. This was that original look that we saw when we came to the chart, right? New AB boundary pressing down. This daily level, previous daily resistance level, comes in line with this 50% retracement, right? Then a beautiful move to the downside. Okay. So now, do we retest this level, right? This is why I'm watching this level for retracement. I didn't play this retracement because I'm long on the dollar CAD, right? I'm long on the dollar CAD. So I'm looking for an opportunity to add to my trade, okay? If it occurs. So if we get down to this daily level on this 50% retracement, or if we push even a little deeper and get into my sweet spot, right? That could be an opportunity to then get long. Okay. Could be an opportunity to get long. So we'll see what happens once we get down to this previous resistance, see if it serves as support. Well, this has been a beautiful move to the downside, right? Benny broke that down for us last night, right? So look out for it. You come here to the 15, look at it a little bit closer. This is what you had. Shallow retracement, 118, 127. This is the sideways push Benny brought to our attention, right? So look for the break to the downside. Bang, you're getting it, right? These 80-20 scenarios happen on every single time frame, right? So we'll see what happens here. Been a beautiful move to the downside though. Okay, beautiful move to the downside. So questions on the dollar CAD? Nope. All right, cool deal. Let's take a look at this Euro CAD. Did anybody hold this from this low to this high that we talked about back in August or even September?
I did not.
I didn't hold it all the way either. I took my profit here at the 236 level. No? Cool. We made some money off of it though, right? 80-20 on multiple time frames. You had on the monthly time frame, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Boom. You got to the 382 on the monthly as well, right? Beautiful push into that zone, right? 80-20 scenario on the monthly, 80-20 scenario on the weekly, right? We had a fresh AB boundary on the daily, right? That 382 off the weekly, and the monthly came in line with the 8-6 retracement level, right? Pushed into that zone. Now we're starting to get a reaction, right? We broke above the previous daily level, right? Starting to get a reaction here. So we want to see, do we turn over now and make a move back to the downside? Euro's still relatively strong. We'll see. Have a great day, Brandy. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see if it's time for this to turn over and start making its way back to the downside. All right. We'll see. We need the CAD to continue to stay strong, potentially getting a boost from oil, right? And we'll need some shakeups to happen over in Europe. So we shall see. Shall see. So we come here to the 4, right? And we got our fibs running to the upside. And surprise, surprise, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, in line with monthly and weekly 382, right? Double top type scenario here. We'll see if we get this breakdown, right? If we break back below this previous daily level, and if we're able to break below this 4-hour support here, right? We could be on the move to the downside. All right. So let's watch. Let's watch. I'm going to take this out now, right? Look, let's go back real quick. What does that circle mean, Ryan? What does that circle mean? That was another 80-20 scenario. Right? We saw it on the monthly. We saw it on the weekly. We saw the fresh AB boundary on the daily. And once I get there, probably over one more. Bang. This was another 80-20 scenario, right? And that moved to the upside. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. And then we're off to the races to the upside, right? And this push took out the A and get to that weekly level, right? So that's why I flipped the fib to the upside. So now this is where we sit, another 80-20 scenario. We're looking at that price to come back down to the downside, okay? So on this 4, you can run your trend lines. Like so. Wait for your break on the 4, if that's the time frame that you trade off of, like so, right? We come down to the 1, and that was a fresh AB boundary, right? And we're breaking down, okay? Breaking down, right? If you had your aggressive trend line coming here, right? You had your consolidative push here. So we would have shifted that, and then this would have been your break, right? So do we get a break below this daily level, right? That's where we sit there, okay? And lower time frames didn't have a ton working, right? You would have run that fib off of this low here. This is on your 5, right? Push to the D extension, and then you got a breakdown, okay? So could be ready for that move back down. Could be ready for the move back down, all right? So keep your eyes on this one if you aren't already in it to the downside. But if we do, if it is time for this to turn over, right? match an extension, 1,200 pips to the downside. So we'll watch and see. Watch and see. Questions on the Euro CAD? No. All right.
Nope, I think we're good.
Cool deal. Take a look at this CAD yen. So here we are. This is an interesting scenario. On a weekly time frame, shallow retracement, 118 to 127 zone, right? Beautiful breakdown. Came back down to this weekly support level, right? And we're getting a reaction here, right? So are we going to get a pullback in this, right? Or is this going to be a small retracement for then a continuation? But moving out of this 80-20 scenario on the weekly time frame, right? We've seen how powerful that can be. Come down to the daily time frame, right? And this is that push. We looked at it yesterday. We said, oh, if we get price to stall at this daily level to give us that retracement, that'd be beautiful. We didn't get it, right? Price continued to push to the weekly support, right? So now we're getting this reaction, right? Now we're getting this reaction. So as we continue to move down to the lower time frames, whoops. On our 4, let's see. We had a bunch of consolidation. Right? This push to the downside took out our A. Right? Took out our A. So got to flip the fib and run it to the downside. Bang. We didn't get to that D extension, right? Shallow retracement. Didn't get to the 382. Push down. Weekly support. And we'll see if this turns over and pushes back to the upside. Okay. It's another technically 80-20 scenario here. We didn't get to that D extension. We'll see if we break back above this daily level. That's going to be key. Break back above the daily level, we could be on the move to the upside here. Okay. We drop down to the 1. You're able to look at that a little more closely. All right. Shallow retracement. Push down. We never got that trend line break yesterday. Push down, weekly support. And now we're pushing back to the upside, trying to break this trend line. We got a sideways push through it. Okay. So if we break back above this daily level, that's what I'm looking for. If we get a nice break, we move this trend line out, right? Break of this daily level, break of the trend line, right? We could be on the move to the upside here. So watch this one. Watch this one closely. We come down to our lower time frames, right? Fresh AB boundary, push, right? Headed to your outer trend line, your long-term trend line, right? We got back to that daily level and turn around there, okay? So we can take these trend lines out. We'll leave that one there. We'll reverse our fib and see where we sit. Surprise, right? Fresh AB boundary at this daily level. Price is trying to turn back over, right? So we'll see what happens here. Still within this sideways push, all right? So we'll see what happens here, okay? But could be for a retracement coming out of this, off this 5-minute, right? Strong push to the downside. We'll see if it stays below. The game resets over and over and over again. All right. So that's your CAD yen. Questions here?
No, sir.
Deal. Pound CAD. daily time frame. Shallow retracement, push through the 118, 127 zone, right? We broke above this weekly level, right? We're starting to get a reaction. So I want to see, do we turn over and press down here, or do we get one more push to the upside to get to the D extension? Okay. So that's the question that I'm asking myself as I'm looking at this. Okay. As we continue to move down to the 4, you got your fresh AB boundary, this push up, got us into that 118 level, right? So we'll see, does price turn over and come back down? Or do we get another push to the upside, right? You get to that weekly level and hit that daily D extension, right? That 127 zone is almost in line with that D extension, right? So do we get one more push to the upside, and then do we turn over? Okay. 80-20 scenario on the 4. Okay. Like so. Oops. Nope. Like so. Okay. Drop down to the 1. Surprise, surprise. Right? We're in alignment here. We got a lot of alignment. We got your daily D extension. We got your 4-hour 118 and 127 zone, and we got a 1-hour 118 and 127 zone, all in line here. Right? So to me, that says watch this closely. Right? Watch this closely. We could turn over here and press down, or we could get one more push to the upside and then see if we get that reversal. Okay. That's there. Go to the 15 here. All right. On the 15, we had a fresh AB boundary. All right. And we already got that breakdown. Okay. So we're watching this off the higher time frame for potentially a longer term swing. Okay. Longer term swing. Once we get price moving, then we can look at the lower time frames for some of those short term reversals. Okay. So watch this one closely. Watch this one closely. Questions here on the pound cat. Nope. Watching. Sweet. Sweet. Carolyn said Euro USD. Let's take a look. All right. So here we are. Right. We got to that 50% retracement. We're playing at this previous weekly resistance level, just hovering sideways. Right. Trying to see what's going to happen. Right. We know those dollar pairs are just hovering right now. Okay. Just hovering right now. Drop to the 4. You see that sideways push. Shallow retracement, 118, 127. Came back to that 118, 127 zone. And now we're just pushing sideways. Okay, just pushing sideways. So that's a higher time frame look. Drop to your 1. Similar deal, just consolidation. What Carolyn says on the 5-minute. Let's see what we're working with. I'm all the way back just to run them through. That one got broken there, came back down. So we'll run it off of our high. Deep retracement here. All right, 8-6 retracement. We got a sideways push. All right, if we run the fib the other way, let's see. Carolyn, what you looking at here? You're looking at a short opportunity, a long opportunity. What's your bias on this one? Long. So you got 8-6 retracement here. We break back above that weak level, matching the extension is here at that 118 level. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. All right. We'll see if we get a catalyst today in one direction or the other. All right. This is what Miss Carolyn is looking at. right? We shall see. We shall see, right? But we need a catalyst for that thing to move, okay? Bounce back to the 1 and run the trend line on that. Bang. The outside of the consolidation, right? One direction or the other. One direction or the other. Okay. Questions on the Euro USD? All right, cool deal. And take a look at this Euro yen. We had a nice move off of it, off the 5. And we posted in the Telegram. So long term, right? And this one has been moving so.
You going for euro?
Say it again.
You going for euro yen?
I'm sorry, pound yen.
Oh,
Pound yen. I'm sorry if I
oh,
said
you good.
this pound yen, right? It had a shallow retracement, couldn't get to the 118 and 127 zone. And we started this breakdown, right? Had a little head and shoulders action here, right? And then we just pushed sideways. And we're still moving sideways a little bit, right? 382 is here. So we're slowly making our way down, right? We'll see if we get to that 382. It's been a long move. Being it's going to be interesting to do this this back testing on this one, man, for the year to see how these played out.
For sure.
It's been interesting. It's been interesting. So run our fib off the low here. All right. We got a 382. And then this is that sideways push. We had a break and then just sideways. So looking to see if we could continue to move to the downside. On our 1, right? We had that 80-20. Actually, it looks like we just got to that 382. So that invalidated that. But we pushed into the 118 and 127 zone and then started to break down. All right. Gave us a deeper retracement. And then we had to push back to the upside. Okay. So here on the 5, it was on the 15, right? Being that the move to the downside.
Yes, sir. 15-minute chart.
There we go. Shallow retracement. Push down. We got a nice retracement, right? To that 382. Kind of stalling out a little bit, right? Trying to push to the D extension, right? But that moved down. Now we're moving back up. So we'll see. This one's kind of in between right now. Nothing doing. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how this plays out. We could be in for another push to the upside to give us a deeper retracement. So we'll monitor to see. Okay. We'll monitor to see. Questions on the euro yen? I mean, on the pound yen.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
When you go back to your weekly, it looks like I'm trying to get in the habit of looking at my higher time frame, zooming out on my monthly to get a sense of direction, and then going to my weekly.
Absolutely.
And okay, yeah. So your weekly wise, you're looking, it's bearish. It's flowing down.
Weekly, that's my bias. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we got an AB boundary. We did get to this 382 on this push down here, so we'll see. But yes, my bias is bearish. Overall, yes, my bias is bearish. I'm not very high on the pound. However, I'm not super high on the yen yet either, right? Because nothing has changed. But I'm more bullish on the yen than I am on the pound. So in this scenario with a fresh AB boundary, yes, I am looking for this to continue move to the downside.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then when I went to my daily, it just looks like this thing has been ranging for a little bit.
Yeah.
In between 2 weekly zones. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm looking, at these correctly. So, okay.
Yeah. No, you're seeing the thing to keep in mind, and I haven't traded this one, right? And the thing to keep in mind is, right, you hear Benny say it, when in doubt, stay out. Right.
Yeah.
They're easier pairs to trade. Right. So
Right.
with it ranging as it has been, we got this spike and then price came back and then it's just been pushing sideways since October. Right. Stay out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're indecisive on it and you can't see it, if it's not anything that's developing clearly, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. You know what I mean? As Benny's gotten down to these lower time frames, right? You can identify some of these lower time frame moves, right? These intraday moves that could give you some short-term opportunities. But over the long term, if it's not clear for a swing trade, leave it be. Leave it be. Right? You're seeing it, right? It's it's confusing itself, right? It's sideways.
Yeah.
Right? It's sideways, it's consolidating, right? So it's okay not to trade it.
Got it. When in doubt, stay out.
When in doubt, stay out. When in
Thank
doubt,
you.
stay out. You're absolutely welcome. Right. But you're seeing it. You're seeing the consolidation happening. So when you get those consolidation periods, if it's a pair that you want to trade, right? Like Benny's been saying, drop down to these lower time frames and you can find some of these smaller intraday moves. Right. And on these pound pairs, right? These smaller intraday moves, 100, 200 pips. Right. So those opportunities are there still, even on these pound pairs to make your week, right? But that going down to the 15-minute and then 5-minute, right? Looking for those 80-20 scenarios. Okay.
That's a great point, but I think my problem has been I have a good week trading my 4-hour, go back to the 61.8. But then when I go down to the lower time frames and I look at the 5-minute plays or 15-minute plays, I feel that because I haven't had enough consistency with my 4-hour 61.8 plan, I get off track and it gets frustrating.
So you move away from your rules and you get down to lower time frames.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's gonna take continued work, right?
Right.
Because what happens is we tell ourselves that the lower time frames move faster, move differently, right? And so we'll get more anxious. But as we've seen, they really don't, right? So it's a mental game, right? It's all a mental game. So when you get down to the lower time frames, you still have to follow your same rules and understand that if you're playing with a tighter stop loss, you're going to get stopped out more, right? So you have to understand that. And then if you play with a wider stop loss, you could be in drawdown for a little bit, but you still allow the trade to move the way that it's going to move, right? And over time, again, it's about the consistency, right? About the consistency. So over time, when you're consistent, the rules, the probability to play out in your favor, right? So what I would say is, in your demo account, start practicing on the lower time frame if it's something that you desire to do. If it's something that you desire to do, right? Start getting your practice in with your rules on your lower time frames. In the trades that might go against you, take a look to ensure that you followed your rules, right? And if you did follow your rules and price just hit your stop loss, consider that a win, right? Because it's about developing the discipline and the consistency, right? That's the growth that we're looking for. So if you consider that a win because you followed your rules, now, right, you're starting to stack those wins, right? And you're able to build that momentum, right? So that will be my suggestion on starting to develop that discipline on the lower time frames if you want to trade those at some point.
Okay. But it's only when I see you guys show the 5-minute wins and 15 minutes, you get a little anxious, God, why don't I try those? When my overall plan is really, I like the 4-hour swings. And when I say consistency, it's just not consistency in wins. I want to make sure I'm setting my fibs up correctly. I want to make sure, my zones are correctly. It's just pulling all of that together. But as I'm doing that, and then I'll jump down to a 5-minute because God, that looks so good. I get off track. So I'm just I'm trying to be disciplined, more disciplined.
Absolutely. So don't chase the money, right? You see the wins, and those are available, but you got to remember, what is your goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're posting the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes, right? But if that's not the type of trade that you desire to develop into, or that's not where you are right now, you don't have to take them.
Right.
Right. So resist the urge, because that's part of the discipline piece too. Right.
Mhm.
Resist the urge. Let me get where I desire to be consistency wise on the 4 hour. And then after I'm there and I have my long-term swings in play, right, then I can go down to that 15-minute and the 5, right?
Yeah.
So it's an
Right.
evolution, but
Right.
it's, I'm excited for you because you're exploring it. And most people don't explore it because they're too afraid. They're afraid of failure, right?
Mhm.
So keep pressing in. Keep pressing in, right? You're doing it.
Right.
And that's a win in itself.
Yep.
Right? Most people don't get in the arena. You're in the arena, right?
Right.
Now it's just continuing to evolve and get the experience, right? And developing the consistency. So kudos to you. I'm excited for you. Well, another thing you can do, and Benny and I do this, right? We go every year, we go back for the whole year and we map out the fibs on, we did last year on the 1 hour time frame for every pair from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Right.
Right.
And that'll help you to identify, right, running those fibs from the very beginning of the move all the way through, right, and map out all of them all the way through. Yeah. So if you want to do that on the 4 hour, you can do it on the 4 hour, right? So that, again, the repetition is what's going to help really be able to identify those spots.
Yeah. Got it.
Right. But kudos to you.
Thank you for that, because I was getting frustrated because
I know it.
I have a good week and then it all falls apart. And I'm like, God, I started thinking, can I really do this? All those thoughts come in.
Yep.
So thank you for that Mindset Monday talk. I needed that.
Absolutely. So during those times where things, because a couple of things, right? A, you don't control the order in which your wins and losses come, right? So Benny talked about risk management, and that's why it's so important, right? But B, in those periods where you take those losses, that string of losses, right? Take a look at those trades to analyze, right? Did I follow my rules here?
Mm-hmm.
And if no, why not? What was I feeling? What was I thinking? What happened? Right? And again, if you did, put a W next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And count it as a win. So you're shifting the psychological piece of it, because the rules is what's important. Right? Did you follow your rules? Did you get your confirmations? Did you enter the trade after your confirmations were met? Right? Or did you not wait for your confirmations? So go back and look at those, right? And look at that string and see if there's any tweaks that you can make, or if you followed your rules and price just went against you, because that's how the market moves sometimes, right? And put a W next to those.
Got it.
Okay. That's the mental game.
Got it.
You're right there.
Thank you.
You're right there. I love it. Great job. All right. Any questions about anything that we covered this morning?
Hey, Ryan.
Bro.
So I got a question. So on you like trading on the 4 hour time frame. Have you taken 100 trades on the 4 hour yet?
No.
Good question.
No, and that's a part of it's just sticking with my plan. I mean, there are a couple of things. One is just sticking with my plan, and I've even narrowed down how many pairs I'm looking at, and I'm just trying to, I'm telling myself I got to be disciplined. If I'm going to trade 4 hour, trade 4 hour. And no, but I haven't done 100 trades on a 4 hour yet.
Okay. Right. So you're going to come from potentially your monthly, your weekly, your daily down to the 4 for one, right? On a 4-hour time frame, know that those trades take a while. Two, when you talk about your stop placement, are you placing it on your 4-hour when it gets to your zone? Are you placing it above the A, or are you placing it above the C, right? Both options are there. Okay. Then when you're on the 4-hour, I'm assuming that you say like you're 61.8, so you're looking to trade with the trend, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to make sure, right, we've got, to the best of our ability, our directional bias, right, is accurate. And a lot of times it's hard to do. Plus two, right, when you look at trend trading historically, right, the strike rate is not as high as a lot of people think. You can go anywhere between 40 and 60, 65%, right, on your strike rate. So if you're at 100 trades, if you're at 40%, you can lose 60 of those trades. But when you're playing with that trend and you're playing that 61A zone, your stops above the A, right, you're putting yourself oftentimes in 3-to-1 risk to rewards, right? So over time, you should make money, right? You should make money. So a lot of times people have to really, I know we're in an age where we see people posting stuff, YouTube, everywhere else, where 90%, this and that, most of the time that's not true. When you look at a lot of your professional traders, they're anywhere between 35, like 35%, 60, 65%, for a strike rate.
Now I have had to make some adjustments. You recall in the session I talked about my lot size on the 4-hour, where when I'm above the A's, sometimes it's not enough so that I can take half off when I get to my 1-to-1. So with that in mind, I've even, maybe looked at maybe entering in on the 1-hour sometimes and, just let it flow into that 4-hour. So it's making the adjustment.
Yeah, and it takes time, and we'll definitely. I know we're about to wrap it up, so we'll definitely continue the conversation. But if the 4-hour is your chart, work on mastering that and getting those reps in. But we know you're in the game and you're committed, so it'll happen for you.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Great work. Anything else, bro, before we wrap it up?
No, sir. Awesome session as always, Ryan. Look forward to seeing everybody tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the agent session.
Appreciate you, man. You guys have an awesome Wednesday. We'll see you tonight. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.